Hello, welcome to week number 34. Week number 34 of this year, 2025, as we begin to approach the end of the year. Um, and so, on that theme of beginning to approach the end of the year, I thought that a good topic um, for us to focus on today is what I call sustaining practice. Sustaining practice. Let me start with a quote by John Kabat-Zinn. John Kabat-Zinn is the founder of mindfulness-based stress reduction. So the stress reduction techniques that we've been using, the stress reduction practices that we've been using during these weekly practices are really from MBSR, mindfulness-based stress reduction by John Kabat-Zinn. So here's his quote, and it's a really pertinent quote for our conversation today. Mindfulness is not about getting anywhere. It's really about being where you are. Mindfulness is not about getting anywhere. It's about being where you are right now, where you are. And that's a really interesting quote because um, research shows that we all suffer from the wandering mind. There's an author, Killingsworth is his name. In 2010, they did this study and it showed that um, a good majority of people suffer from what we call the wandering mind. The mind is never really not being where we are. You can be here, but the mind is somewhere else, the wandering mind. And when the mind wanders, we are not aware of it because we are on autopilot mode. We're not aware that the mind is wandering. And you may say to yourself, oh, what's wrong with that, Jude? Well, the challenge that you have with that is that when your attention, when you do not pay attention to what your mind is doing, and paying attention is another word that we can speak about at another time, the mind wanders off and is hoovering up. I like to use that word, hoovering up all sorts of stuff because the mind can be quite mischievous. Hoovering all sorts of stuff up, unbeknownst to you, and all that stuff that it hoovers up. You think of a hoovering machine, right? When you hoover up stuff with a hoovering machine, and then you look at how much stuff, you look at what is hoovered up, just a whole ton of gunk. Yes. Well, this is the same thing with what the mind does when we leave it unchecked, wandering around doing its own thing. It hoovers all sorts of stuff, which it then presents back to us, which we then experience by way of being in a mood. Have you ever been in a mood and you're not quite sure why you're feeling the way you're feeling? It could be you're in a mood, you're not feeling great. Um, Anxiety, anxiousness. It's because you at some point have left the mind unchecked. And so that's why this idea of mindfulness is not about getting anywhere, but about being where you are here, paying attention to what you are doing, I normally say, as you're doing it, not in a neurotic way, but you're aware, allowing your awareness to um, being present to your awareness so that your awareness then takes over. I am aware that I am talking to you right now, that my hand is moving. I'm not thinking about it, I'm just aware of it. And so, sustaining practice, the theme of sustaining practice this week is really about knowing that we do these practices not because we want to become holy, not because we want to become better than anyone else. We do these practices, I like to call them practices or self-mastery practices. We do these practices so that we can live a more mindful, aware life moment to moment. And actually, when we do that, what you then get as a consequence of doing that is amazing peacefulness, happiness, calmness, joy. And joy is the joy is of a different emotional level than happiness. Yes, you can be going through tremendous a pain or suffering of some sort and still be joyful. Yes, you can still be joyful. So sustaining these practices is the focus of today's conversation. Identifying different moments in our lives when we can pause, different moments when we can anchor back into the body, when we can anchor into the mind. Um, so how have these practices been sustaining you?